Good afternoon. Today is the 17th of March and I'm currently quite hazardously positioned at the entrance to Lockheath Shopping Centre in Hampshire. This is the Lockheath Classic Car Show, club bi-monthly meeting. As you can see, we're a bit hazardous to where we are. But you'll recognise, if you are familiar with this event, a couple of the cars that seem to be here all the time. One is this mini pickup, very late mini pickup. I was wondering if the little dummy is in the back today. Often the dummy is, but doesn't look like it is. The mini pickup and mini van were made until 1982. This is the 81 or 82. And still got a lot of the Mark 1 mini features on it, such as the sort of exposed hinges and the house style door handles and the sliding window. Also got the pressed steel grille rather than the chrome one, which would have been actually on most of the minis. We've also got this Morris Minor police car. I forget if this is a 68 or 69. It's been modified quite extensively with very sensible modifications, such as Marina servo-assisted discs, which you can tell by the wheels, and a Toyota 5-speed gearbox. I might not be able to actually walk around that way because it is a bit damp and I don't really want to get my foot in a puddle. But yeah, there's the really basic sort of features there, and the pressed steel grille. Lots of mini pickups have crow grills on them now. This one doesn't. But there you can see. It's actually a genuine police car. The owners actually told me that, which is amazing. Having driven the Morris Minor Traveller earlier this month, which had no disc brakes, no servo assistance, and a normal 4-speed gearbox with no Citroën first, I appreciate what he's done. Just kept the original tier. There we go. The gear knob is actually off some kind of Austin Rover product, but it's actually a Toyota gearbox in that one. And we've got even more minis. We've got loads, as we always do when we're here. This one, if that sort of plate is the original plate, would be from the 1980s. Now it's a Mini 35, but plate's probably not original, and so we're looking at about 1994. It's a nice interior actually. That it's rather nice. Yes, it's got sort of leather, blue and beige going on there. Next one, 7273 Mini 1000. This is a Mark III. See this all the time. Lime flower interior in the back, but some more comfortable seats, which is a sensible idea in one of these. Can't remember the name of this colour. It looks like zircon blue. It's a Rover colour, but I could be wrong. And then we've got, it's not a Mark II Mini, it's not a Mark II Mini at all, it's an early 90s Cooper, 91, 92. I don't think actually the early 90s Coopers were called VS, I think that sort of came a bit later. Ironically though, we are actually next to a genuine Mark II Morris Mini Cooper S. I think this is 69, so it's quite a late Mark II. And you can see actually they're very different at the back. Straight away they had the rear lights, which actually came in I think about 1977 actually those rear lights came in. But yeah, and we got a Mini Row special edition from the 1980s, 88, 89 on an F with the pink roof. Not quite my kind of thing particularly, viewers, but some people actually like that kind of thing, don't they? And yes, I am borrowing Mr. Coleman's Vectra at the moment. I've cleaned it up and parked it here, not generating that much interest really, but not a lot of people actually recognise that this is a very rare V6 Arctic 2 special edition. Let's have a look at some other stuff here. That is not a 53. This is like a sort of 2012 to 15 car actually, judging by the headlamps. It's a C204 model this. It's probably an AMG. I know it's a C180. Oh my gosh! Wow. So you've picked the coupe, and you've chosen to have the basic engine in it, and AMG wheels. That's interesting. It's been 1.6 in this with I think it's 154 horsepower. I've actually just reviewed a saloon version of one of those. That'll be on the channel at some point. And then we have a Vauxhall VXR8, which would have been made in Australia as a Holden. So this has got HSV bits. Let's look at the steering wheel. Actually, that type of thing covered up. So this might actually be originally a Vauxhall with just Holden bits on it. Ooh, I don't mind if I do, viewers. A Mark III Ford Granada Scorpio Saloon. It's quite a late one, actually. What an airbag, you know, a very late one. These finished production in 1994, and that's a 93-94 plate. Someone's done a bit of an interesting paint job on that. I'd like to review one of those at some point, actually. And then we've got a little bit newer Ford here, still classic one. Is this, by any chance, an ST 170? Looks like one. Yes. Finally got something right, viewers. Wonderful. 2002 that one is. And then someone's parked this Mondeo here. Now, is this a petrol Mondeo? I hope so, viewers. Otherwise, we'll get caught out. At least it is. So it's about the same age as the Focus, but that maybe not considered the classic, and the Focus is. Interesting. And then we've got some imp action going on here. We've got a couple of imps here today. And something else in the Roots group, which I wasn't expecting to see. This is a Bournemouth plate on it, or Salisbury. And it's a Hillman Superminx. This will be, if it's a non-suffix plate, it's be no later than 1964. Probably like 63, 64, something like that. I think the Superminx came out in 63 from memory. I can't remember exactly now. State. And then we've got a Sunbeam Stiletto. Fantastic. Next to a Hillman Imp Californian. Brilliant. I've seen this around before this one. I think it's a 68 actually. It's either 67 or 68. Sunbeam Stiletto. As you can see, they're very, very similar to the Hillman Imp Californian that's next to it. That's a bit later with a different front end, but I'm very, very amazed to see so many Roots Group cars all together like this. That's fantastic. So the Imp Californian 6970, local plate OT was Southampton back in the day. And that's quite powerful, I think, with that exhaust at the back. And then we have something else that I've heard that this has been here before, but I've never seen it. I must have arrived too late to previous occasions. This Mitsubishi, I think it's a Galant, this one. Oh, no, sorry, it's a Legnum. It's a Japanese domestic market one. So we got this shape as the Galant in this country. It's a Legnum. 96, 97 on a P. The VR4 model. Now that will be quite quick. That's the kind of thing I'd like to try, actually, viewers. I would most certainly be interested in having a go in that one. So something that I like very, very much, this late model XJS. So it'd be after about 92 for sure. I mean, the plate was 92, 93. Could even be later than that, actually. So beautiful colour, and of course a beautiful beige leather interior with wood. What more do you need in life? I like that adapter that's down there as well, an Alpine adapter for the Bluetooth thing. I should get one of those in my car. Fantastic, that's obviously the way to go. I can't remember if this is the V12 or V4 litre. I prefer the 4 litre because it would mean I could actually afford to run it probably, but this one maybe it isn't, but amazing. I have driven a V12 convertible, but it was a bit earlier than that one. A TVR, I think this is an S2 from memory. We'll have to go around the Cadillac in order to see the front of it, but let's go around the Cadillac. Fleetwood Brougham Elegance 75-76. The owner's done his best to sort of fit in the parking space, but it kind of doesn't. It just kind of doesn't. But one thing I'm very impressed about with Fabio who owns this is that he brings it regardless of whatever weather it is. Sorry, 76 this one is. Gosh, Ken Morley used to win that. That's interesting. There we go, TVR. Not come very far in its life. If those are reproduction plates from the original one, Station Hill Garage in Farnham, it's not come very far. That would be fun at some point, well, wouldn't it? Unfortunately, viewers, we're going to have to skip out that Citroën C6 because we don't don't talk about diesels on this channel, but we do talk about very, very nice Jaguars. This is a 1997 XK8, and the chap who owns this, his name is Martin, has said I can have a go in it, and not just any time, I can have a go in this today. So that's what I'm going to do. We're all sort of ready to do that. Later on we'll be getting some more footage of that. I might have to move it slightly so that it's a bit more space to film around it, but we're going to have a go in that. I'm not sure we're having a go in this though. This is it's an E-Type, but it comes up on the DVD check as an S-Type from the 70s, which is a bit weird. I don't really understand how it sort of worked. It might be a car that's been built on an S-Type chassis or something, but nevertheless, it's very good. You wouldn't know unless you've done that sort of thing. Also very nice is this 1992 Vauxhall Cavalier Mark III GSI 2000. We have seen this before, viewers, and I mean, for many of you, this will be absolute and utter pure nostalgia. The GSI 2000 is kind of one that you aspire to, whereas your father would probably own an L or a GL 1.6, which is fine. It's not a problem or anything, but you know, this is the one that you wanted. Unfortunately, a lot of them, of course, got stolen back in the day. Then we got an Isetta. This, I think, is a 50 out of 59. I can't remember exactly now. Left-hand drive, this one, so I doubt this is one made in Britain. The ones made in Britain were built actually in Brighton, I think it was, in right-hand drive. And then we've got an SL, can't remember what would be, something about AMG SL. Can't remember exactly sort of how they used to badge these. Yeah, 55 AMG would be maybe sort of 2005, 2006, something like that. So we've got more Roots Group action here with this 72, 73 imp. So we've modified the competition. A lot of imps back in the day were also definitely kind of competition cars. You could get actually a factory option of a larger engine. Most of them had the 875cc engine, but you could actually get a larger engine if you wanted to. Don't know what's in this one. And then we've got a contract. We've got 3 Day-S's. This one's quite a late one, 74, 75. Probably a DS23 Palace, which is the sort of high spot one. Right-hand drive. The one that's probably coming up on the channel quite soon, though, is this DS19, which was actually originally registered in South Africa. It's been over here for a while now. Right-hand drive. It's owned by Jim, who has a huge collection of cars. The 504 that you would have seen on True Jaguars recently is one of his, and so is this DS. It's 1964. This is kind of in between the two. This is a 1970 or 71 car. So it's after the facelift, which I think occurred around 1966, 1967. Left-hand drive, this one. So we've still got the swivelling headlamps on this, unlike the earlier car. I'm not sure what specification that one is, but you can see the sort of difference there between the earlier and the later ones. And we've got some trike action. I think both of these we've seen before, certainly this one. It's actually comfortable sitting in the back seat. Ford Fiesta Mark 6 gearbox. 1.6, so imagine that'd be a Ford engine, that one. This one, not sure. They're both actually the same manufacturer fit. Waco, is it? I heard of it myself. And then a Cobra. Now I think this is probably a replica. Looking at those dials, it certainly is, because it's got some LCD dials in there. And those look like sort of British loaded switches from the 70s, which are quite common to use in older cars. So I don't exactly know what years, I can't remember now. I think I've seen it before. Certainly seen this before. It's just absolutely amazing. Every time I see this arrive, I get very amused. It's just fantastic, this old Ferguson. Wonderful. How much Subaru action do you want? Yes, not just 1, 2, 3, 4 Subaru Imprezas in a row. We'll actually go start at this end, otherwise we get run over, which is not desirable. This is probably the oldest one, isn't it? This is a 98, 99 on an S. This time, the UK name for these was the Turbo 2000. It wasn't sort of STRW, unless you're looking at non-turbo. Thank you. I can't remember what those were called now. There was a name for those. But of course, we got more powerful versions as well, whether they were imported or. But did actually also do some special editions. This one, the gold wheels and things, looks very special actually. This one, I like the colour of this one. Yeah, a bit later on a T. So 1999 one. And then we look at the next generation. I think these are the blob eye ones. The Hawkeyes were a little bit later than this. So both 2004 to 5. This one for some reason has got the fog lamps and that one doesn't. By this stage they were known as WRX STI. You can see the seats of that. And we got the big wings on the back. Which one do I prefer? I don't particularly like the bug eye ones. I think actually I prefer these or the Hawkeye. I can't remember actually, you know, if there is any different in terms of the power and stuff. That has WR1 bits on the side, but I don't know if that's sort of standard or not. But yes, didn't want to be all that group of them here today. So you mentioned Jim's collection of cars a bit earlier on, and this is one of them. I have driven this and it has been on my channel. It's a Series 3 E-Type V12 Coupe. What a fantastic car. The pedal box is very small on this, so you've got to wear some thin shoes if you want to drive it. But it's a lovely car to drive. It runs really well. It's got a modern Tremec 5-speed gearbox in it to make it a bit easier for people like me, and power steering, and it's just amazing. It's one of the best cars I've ever driven. If you can get used to the pedal box, then that is absolutely the sort of thing that you want to try. That's really nice. Gentleman who owns this car has asked me just to take some video with it. Actually, for one of these, I mean, obviously MGBs, they're not the most uncommon cars, but this is a rubber bumper. I think it's 78, something like that. This one, could be wrong. It's actually got a lot of these sort of original spec sort of interior bits in it as well. That wood panel where the stereo would go is interesting. Can't remember if that is aftermarket, so it's motor litre, so I think it is. You've got the overdrive gearbox on this, which is good. I've driven one of these. I drove it last year. It was a 1981 registered car, but obviously made in 1980. Got accessories on this, like the luggage rack. Actually, it's in really good order, this. And we've got the, I think would have been original wheels, which is the Roadstar ones on it. Got the later dash in this. They're actually quite nice to drive. These they're not nearly as sort of old-fashioned as you'd think, because you've got, by this stage, you've got discs right up front, servo assisted, and also a mesh gearbox. Actually, they drive all right. They drive pretty well. And yeah, you know, there's so much support for these that actually part of the scene is quite easy. Then we've got a much older MG here. This is a ZA Magnet. I forget exactly what the year this is. I think it's before 56 when they changed the rear window, which is a ZB. I like the colour scheme on it. We've got a very happy Teddy in the back. He looks like he's still in Harrods. I mean, if you wouldn't want to visit Harrods. Then next to it, 2019 to 20 Morgan 3-wheeler. Registered at Bell and Colville down in Surrey. 5-speed, I think it's a Mazda MX-5 gearbox in this. Just crazy, and yeah, not really the sort of thing I necessarily want to film, but you know, good nevertheless. This though, I'd like to drive this, a Vantage S. I think this is 2010, 2011, this sort of thing. Still got Volvo bits in here, because Aston was owned by Ford. I think it's till about 2008 or something. And so Ford also owned Volvo during that time, 2000, 2008. But yes, very nice. I've driven a DB9, just not one of those. Right, people are starting to leave, so I've spotted some cars I've not seen so far. This is a immediate post-war Bentley. It's either an R-Type or it's a Mark 6, I can't remember now. But that's rather nice. Also this Lotus Land Plus 2, we've seen this before. This is sort of 71, 72. and you can see we've got some pop-up headlamp action going on here. The R-Type we actually had as our wedding car was very similar to this. I can't remember if it's the same one or not now. Maybe it's changed hands and this is the same one we actually had at our wedding in 2017. But yeah, it's a convertible like this in this colour. We'll just take a look at the interior, because the interior is beautiful. Yes, beige leather interior with wooden piping, of course. And then 1965 Lotus Cortina Mark 1, which yeah, I mean that's a real one. I think it's a real one actually from previous experience. That would be worth a fair bit of money, viewers. Quite a few friends here today actually. So what we're going to do is we'll just finish off with this Spitfire. Now, despite the K registration, and yes, you know, a lot of you will say, what on earth is a Mark 1 Spitfire? So a GT6, sorry. It's a GT6, actually says it on it. What is a GT6 that's a Mark 1 doing on such a late registration? It was actually made in 1968, this car, but not registered until I think 71, 72, which explains it. The Mark II had different suspension than the Mark III, different suspension again, and the Mark III particularly had a very different rear end to this. Production of these finished about 1973. But yeah, essentially a Spitfire with a straight 6 2-litre engine, which is interesting. But anyway, I think that's enough for here. I have to go and start driving this beautiful XK8. So thank you ever so much indeed once again for watching. Please don't forget to subscribe to the channel, like this video, leave a comment below, and the next Shambolic Shuffle will be at the Practical Classics Restoration Show, where hopefully you'll join me for even more incorrect information.